Hi Selma, nice to have you at Private Kitchen. This time I would like to talk with you about, because you have a very different cultural background from yourself already. You were born in Peru, your mother was Dutch, your father became Dutch at a certain moment, you went to Paris, you were yourself already all over the place. And looking at your portfolio, you have done a lot of films from very different countries, different cultures, different people. So I was very curious about your experiences working with all these different people that come from different cultures, also different types of filmmaking. So I would like to chat a bit with you about what kind of experience does it deliver to you. Can you say something about that?
Yes, hi Rens,
Yes.
thank you. Well, definitely, I think I had a chance to work with people from different backgrounds because maybe myself, I come, as you said, from different backgrounds. It's easier for me to adapt to certain situations, but also to a knowledge of music that goes beyond a certain culture. I don't think I can say French people work like this, Argentinians work like this, Romanian work like this. But this, I can say on an individual level, there's something in each director that comes from culture that makes a film different one from another. I take an example. I worked with a Peruvian director, Claudia Llosa, who made her second film. I worked with her on her first two films, and the second film was The Milk of Sorrow. That had a huge success. And I think partly it was because the plot of the story was something very much related to her culture. I mean, not her culture on a personal level, but she told the story about a girl who was victim of terrorism in Peru. Okay, so this is something that belongs to Peru, not culture, but Peru reality. Let's talk about social political reality of a certain place. So she made a film that is the way it is because of that plot. Then I work with Piotr Dumala. It's a Polish animator, film director. And he has a very strange way of working because of his interest in Franz Kafka, himself being an Eastern European man. Okay. So his cultural result in this film will be something else. It's, not a social, political reality, but a writer. And what writer? Then if I go to The Vanished Elephant, it's something much more like a labyrinth that Javier Fuentes León wrote about. And actually it's somehow a personal experience he had also, but something, it was very much related to him also as a film director. Las Mejores Familias, which you saw. Las Mejores Familias is a critic towards the upper class of Peru. So culture has an influence in the way you tell something.
The content of all those films is really different from different cultures, different situations. But do you recognize the culture in the way, for example, a film director operates, communicates? I can imagine that, for example, the Dutch are sometimes characterized as being quite direct. And I've been working with a lot of people from the UK, for example, and they say to a student who's working on a PhD or a thesis, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting subject you try to explain in your PhD, which means when you really talk about it with them, they are trying to say it's shit. Your subject stinks, but they are very polite in the UK, in English way. They say it's interesting. The Dutch students who will receive this comment, they okay, I'm doing well. They say it's interesting. So this was a really interesting conflict due to culture in the way people communicate. I can imagine. I don't know what experiences are. Yes, it's really It's a well-known.
Well, I'm going to tell you a secret, not secret, but something very nice talking about. Then I will go into your question. But one thing is very interesting. I work a lot in co-productions. So people, because I live in France, because my co-productions, when they take place, it's most of the time with France. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, you have a production company that had a request from an Argentinian director that happened not long ago. And they says, oh yeah, but I have a composer for you. Great, because she lives in France, so the quota will work. I am a quota co-production. And this composer based in Paris, who is supposed to be working for the French part, happens to speak very good Spanish. So, and when I said, hey, sorry, I speak Spanish, he changed completely. Completely.
Okay.
It was completely relaxed. Oh, genial. Does it change? Yes, it changes, because culturally speaking, Latins, once they meet, it's tu, it's not vous, the u and the jij, they're very, in France, it's very, very strong. It's direct, it's yes, no, it's okay, let's, you're not too picky, you just go. But it's not a directness like the Dutch one. It's a directness like, I like the Dutch directness very much. In that respect, to go to your initial question, I am very Dutch.
Okay.
I can be very diplomatic.
Okay.
Extremely diplomatic, which is very Latin too,
Yes.
I learn about this, but it's not that I learn what the differences are between expressions and cultures. When you work with people, I know how to handle them. Okay. Very interesting, but again, the most challenging thing for me in working with people from different nationalities, different cultures, is, musically speaking, in the end, do I have to be concrete in the music to illustrate the region I'm working in? And this is my challenge. This is exactly what I don't want to do. Okay. So I work in Peru. I'm not going to use the pan flute. Do I work? It's how I remain universal. And for them to, how is their story going to remain not universal in the prestigious way, but that it speaks to everyone.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. So
shall we have a look at some examples, and maybe you can comment on it. So let's start with Ederly from Piotr Dumala.
Dumala, yeah. I think this is a very interesting example. You see, it's a black and white, intimate film about this man who thinks he's going to find his family. The request of Piotr Dumala was used to use a bit of accordion. I sampled an accordion, and I made kind of sound effects with it. Oh. So that was a very interesting experience. For the end scene, there was a real accordion player, of course, because that was very important. And but I had to express something of the weird aspects of this character. And again, if you see the landscape, it's a very black and white landscape, very much Eastern European, very strong. I work a lot with the landscape in this film.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Czy kiedykolwiek miała Pani lub zamierzała mieć z nim romans?
Nie.
another example is The Milk of Sorrow.
Okay, yes.
From Claudia Loza.
Yeah, this film was beautiful. I worked again on the character, but I worked with her because I had to compose a song. So we worked together on that. It's a song that she will sing a cappella and in the film, and that a lady from the high society who is a pianist will steal from her and make a concert out of it. So I had a music element already there, but then it has nothing to do with the previous film, of course. I mean, they're very extremely different. This is why I'm showing them. You know, here we are in Peru. It's Lima, the capital. A young girl who is afraid of being raped and have the same life her mother had, unfortunately, through terrorism, with a shining path. So it's showing the Black years in Peru, you see. So it was a very good experience working with Claudia, and from the beginning her guideline was tempo, but the evolution of time, like a clock. So I have a lot of scenes in which are very vertical. Tac, 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 tac. And then second, more layers, you know. But it's interesting to show what a director asks from you. You know, it's very different. I need to listen to this.
Okay.
And yeah.
Let's have a look at this scene.
Ella pues estuvo en el pueblo en la época muy dura. Con el terrorismo nació Fausta y su madre le transmitió el miedo por la leche. Tu mamá está muerta, muerta está.
Están buscando a alguien para cuidar la casa de arriba. Podrías ir, sacarte la plata y llevar a tu madre al pueblo como quieres. Si tú me cantas, yo te regalo una pepita.
La teta asustada, así le dicen, nace así como ella, sin alma, porque del susto se escondió en la tierra.
And the last one I would like to look at is The Vanished Elephant from Javier Fuentes Leon. I don't know whether I pronounced it correctly.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. Vanished Elephant. Why am I showing this? Because I think visually it has this scene has something very rich. Then I have very lyrical composition. My reference, because then it's something I would also like to talk about. My reference, because sometimes you have references from the director, was Max Richter. And then I said, oh my God, am I going to, be the number, I don't know which number who repeats Max Richter, And I said, no, I don't want to do Max Richter. But I ended up working with a strings ensemble. And it worked beautifully, you see, because I had a very nice experience. But it was a different setting. I did that online with Macedonia Orchestra.
I see.
Ensemble, sorry. So it was a beautiful experience and totally different from the two before, you see. And this is a thriller, so it has nothing to do with Peru nor with the landscapes of Poland. And it's the identity of a writer. That's the story. But this cue, after I had all the film with thriller, and very efficient music, I would say.
Yeah.
I had this end that this beautiful woman comes and I have to go with strings, you see. So it's a different writing, it's a different approach. When I'm writing this clock for Claudia Ellos, I'm just with my piano. And when I'm writing for this film, I'm making sure that the musicians will get a proper score. Mm-hmm. So you see, there are different approaches, you know, depending on the film.
Let's have a look at the scene.
La hermana de Celia se acercó al punto de encuentro. Su aprensión le daba un aire de pausa a la noche. Ella no era la persona que la había conocido hasta ahora. Nadie lo era. Le dijo la verdad como mejor pudo. Y así, mientras la vida de un hombre empezaba de nuevo, la del otro se esfumaba, desaparecía.
We just watched 3 scenes from 3 directors. Did you, in the working, because they're from different places, they're from Poland, from Peru, from Colombia. It seems to me, knowing you a bit better now, that you're really capable of dealing with these different types, even if it's not related to their cultural background, but different types of directors who are really good in communicating and dealing with totally different type of directors. I have the impression. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think that this is the thing, you know, because actually, one of the main things that you ask to a film music composer is to be able to write in every style. So that per se is a huge capacity of adapting yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the influence of the culture in their projects, you know, how that changes depending on one director or another. But for sure, maybe the capacity of communicating, I don't know. And this is maybe something I learned because I had this multiple background. Yeah. I don't know. See how things go.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I think it's the most important thing is the question is what best serves the project, you know, the choreography or the film. And this is it's a mix of what you think and what the director told you.
Yeah. Thank you for this interesting talk. I really have impressed because all the different types of films that you do, and I have the impression that it has to do with your very cultural, wide background, that you're capable of dealing with all these different type of people, directors, cultural influences, different type of filmmaking, choreographies. So it's really insightful to talk with you about this. So thanks a lot for this.
Thank you very much for having me.
And for our audience, if you want to know more about Selma, take a look at the other videos, and I'll see you back in the private kitchen. Thank you. Bye bye.